Hello folks, today is afternoon in August 28th, 2021. I'm here with, Mr. name?
Sonja Joseph.
I'm just here with the Samuel Octor program, and my name is Eric Chavez, and I guess we want to begin with just state your name again.
Sonja Joseph.
Okay. And may you state your relation to the victim?
So my son, my 20-year-old son, Giovonn Joseph-McDade, was murdered on June 24th, 2017. Okay. And he was my eldest son.
And can you tell me what was he like? What was he?
Well, he was a student. He was just very outgoing, very caring and loving, just very inspirational, and just always loved to smile and be with his family and friends, and just a smart, intelligent young man.
Where do you guys live, actually?
I live in the city of Auburn, Washington, but my son was killed in the city of Kent, Washington.
Did he study at university, or?
He was a Running Start student, and he went to Green River Community College. I'm so sorry. Green River Community College.
Okay. And may you explain more about the incident or how the situation?
So my son complied to a traffic stop where the officer profiled him for a good 10-15 minutes and then pulled him over. My son complied to a traffic stop and then later fled the scene. After fleeing the scene, the officer started a pursuit, and in that pursuit, the officer used deadly force by using a pit maneuver, which is using the officer's patrol SUV with the crowbars on it to smash into the moving vehicle. And so my son was trapped in a cul-de-sac, and the officer that came to support went around, parked his truck, and got out and shot 2 rounds into my son's car, killing my son. And we recently just settled for $4.4 million and a memorial bench in the site where he was killed back in April. But I also worked with legislation for the Washington State, and we passed a few police reform bills, which particularly 1054, which addressed restricting vehicle pursuits and the use of deadly force in so
That's great. I want to say, which police department?
The city of Kent.
City of Kent. Okay.
Officer Matthew Roush started the pursuit, and then Officer William Davis was the one that got out and went to the side of my son's car and shot 2 rounds, and then later claimed to have feared for his life and claimed that my son was using his vehicle as a weapon. But I hired independent forensic scientists, accident reconstructionists, and I had a whole team that proved that he was on the side of the vehicle and that he was not an imminent threat for his life, because he couldn't use the excuse that he feared for his life, because he was not in threat of being in danger by being hit by a car.
Yes. Okay. I suppose that's all. Is there anything else you want to say?
Although I settled with the city for $4.4 million and a memorial bench, that's not justice. And these officers are still working, even though they broke policies and lied about fearing for their lives. They should be charged with murder and in jail right now. But they're still working, and the shooting officer is a trainer for the state of Washington, and he trains new recruits how to de-escalate, yet he didn't know how to de-escalate when he murdered my son.
Okay. Actually, I guess like Giovanni, what was his dreams, aspirations at the age of 20?
He was in community college, and he wanted to get a business degree and eventually go to the UW, University of Washington. And his dreams were just to have a business and just become a man. He wanted to get married. He wanted to have kids. He loved his family, and he had a lot of friends and family. They just miss him greatly, and we just love him and miss him. And this was just, in Washington State, a lot of the police officer-involved shootings are considered justifiable. And, most recently, we finally, after we worked on Initiative 940, we finally charged an officer last year for the first time in over 30 years. There hasn't been one officer that's ever been convicted for murder in Washington State. There have been 3 officers that have been charged, 2 of which were acquitted 30 years ago, and now most recently 3 more officers. So currently in the Washington State, we have 4 officers in jail for officer-involved shootings, and are charged with first-degree and second-degree murder. And we're just hoping that we get a conviction, because that'll make history, because there aren't any officers that have ever been convicted in Washington State.
I guess that concludes for the interview. Do you want to say your name and your relationship, your name of the victim?
Okay. Justice for Giovonn Joseph-McDade. Thank you.
Justice for Giovanni.
Okay, so you want to